Alright, so the next question is, I want to know the purpose and reasons behind the exercise movements that we do. Okay, so the exercise movements that you do is really dependent on the program which is on the board right now. So I'm assuming that you're asking this based on the classes, okay? So rather than personal training, because if you have a personal trainer, you would be, your personal trainer should be answering you. So the reason, okay, in order to answer this question, I need to explain how the classes work. So we have two categories of classes, one lift class and one bulk class, okay? So lift class is everything that has got to do with building muscle, building strength, building endurance. And bulk class is basically all about metabolic conditioning, aka cardio, but in a fun way. You get to play with barbells and all these kind of movements, which goes beyond just running. So I'm going to start with bulk class for a while. Bulk class always have two parts to it, at the very least two parts to it. One pre-workout and one and the workout itself. So pre-workout, during the pre-workout, we'll be giving you something known as resistance training. So resistance training is basically powerful contractions, like exercises that uses powerful contraction of the muscle in order to execute a certain movement. As an example, when you want to do a push-up, if you are not very good at doing push-up, you'll find that doing push-up is extremely difficult if you're not good at doing push-up. And as an example, bench press, or maybe strict press, or maybe squats, okay? And what is heavy and what is difficult to you is dependent on your fitness level and your strength level. So we would scale things down so that the movement is difficult for you. And by design, it is very important that it is difficult. So there is three benefits of doing resistance training. So if you're talking about bulk, okay, resistance training for those people who wants to burn fat, okay, resistance training has three benefits. First thing is that it will increase your basal metabolic rate. So increased basal metabolic rate means that you will increase the amount of calories you burn when you do absolutely nothing. So typically, women have about 1,000 to 1,003 basal metabolic rate. Men typically have about 1,006 to 2,000 calories basal metabolic rate. So the higher your basal metabolic rate is, the more calories you burn when you're doing absolutely nothing. Now imagine the potential if you're able to burn 300 extra calories when you're doing absolutely nothing compared to the person next to you. How much more potential of fat burn do you think you will be able to burn? It's a lot. So if you can increase by 300 per day, in 10 days that's 3,000 calories. And in 12 days that's 3,600 calories. And by the way, did you know that 1 pound of fat is equivalent to 3,500 calories? So it's very powerful to increase your basal metabolic rate. Second benefit of doing resistance training is actually to increase your work capacity. So increasing work capacity means that you are actually able to increase, under the context of fat burn, you will actually be able to increase the amount of calories you burn during a workout session. Because work capacity by definition means the ability to put more work within the duration of time. That's what work capacity is. So the higher your work capacity is, the more work you'll be able to do within a given duration. And the more work you'll be able to do within a given duration, the higher the amount of calories you burn within every single workout. So imagine 1 year from now, you are able to burn 200 calories more during your workout than what you're doing right now. That's great. And work capacity increases only if you get stronger. I want you to think about in terms of two cars. Okay, so one is let's use two Avanza. Okay, so one Avanza is empty, one driver. Another Avanza is fully loaded with people. So if both of these Avanzas were to drive down from KL to Penang, the one loaded with people is going to consume more fuel. Same thing, more load, more work done within the same amount of time. So that is the second benefit. The third benefit of doing resistance training is actually to increase durability. So when I say durability, I mean durability on two fronts, okay? So durability on two fronts, I want to talk about internal durability and external durability. So external durability is very simple and very straightforward. As an example, how likely would it be for you to break a bone if you were to trip and fall. And how likely is it going to be for you to sustain any form of joint problems if you were to say hike, or how likely is it going to be for you to get to hurt your back if you were to bend down and pick up your daughter or your son? So I've had my head maths teacher, my high school teacher. He actually bent down to pick up his baby daughter one day, and he had a herniated disc because of that. Why does that happen? It's simple. It's because he doesn't have enough strength to be able to support his body weight when he does these kinds of movements. So strength, regardless of whether you want to burn fat or build muscle, is actually very important. So therefore, durability is also very important. The second part of durability is an internal durability. When you do resistance training, I'm not going to go too much into it, but when you do resistance training, you are actually able to handle carbs in a different way as compared to someone who doesn't do resistance training. Someone who does resistance training on a consistent basis and therefore increase their muscle, increase their strength, work capacity, BMR, is actually able to handle more carbs because your muscle feeds on carbs. Your muscle uses carbs to move. So that is one. Another thing is that by the increase of BMR and work capacity, the chances of you getting obesity-related diseases also gets drastically reduced. So therefore, this is what I mean by when I talk about internal durability. Another thing I would like to also highlight is that as it relates to aging and longevity, if you were to imagine if you were to consistently move heavy loads, heavy external loads such as a barbell, okay, or a kettlebell, all the time, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, what do you think it's going to do for your gross motor skills? It's going to improve because so therefore your likelihood of getting Parkinson's, Alzheimer's also gets reduced because you use your brain all the time, right? So that is what it means to, that is the 3 major benefits of doing resistance training. I wrote all about this in my book. You can go and check it out. So after you're done with the resistance training component of the bowl, then by the way, the resistance training component of the bowl is all personalized to each and every one of our clients over here. So you don't have to worry about whether or not that part of your resistance training is suitable for you. Next, we go into the Metcon. So Metcon, everybody does the same workout but scaled differently and according to different people's knowledge, coordination, proficiency in movements. So if your coach gives you a scaled down version, even if it feels not so fun, you should be doing those things first. You need to be good at the basics first, because when you're carrying external weight or when you're doing high intensity exercises such as ours, which is effective, if you're not careful, you might injure yourself. So that is the reason why we always scale things down to your intensity and your proficiency. So once again, everything inside your Metcon is scaled to your intensity and your proficiency. And that is very, very important to remember that. If you feel that you can handle more, then talk to your coach. Talk to the coach on duty. Ask them whether or not you are able to handle more. And if your coach feels that yes, you're able to handle more, he or she will definitely give you the kind of scaling that you require. Okay, so next, we're going to talk about lift. So lift in our definition actually is an acronym. Stands for low intensity functional training. So why do we call it low intensity functional training? Because we use multiple joint movements, we use compound movements, okay? So we don't just target, okay, like I want to work on my quads, I'm just gonna do quad extension. We don't do that. We don't do bicep curl, just bicep. No, we don't. We only use isolation as a form of accessory, which is like a supplement rather than the main. Because when you enter a program, when you just go into the class, you're fresh, right? So we will give you we're gonna give you heavy compound movements such as squats loaded up with a weight which is relevant and suitable for you. Again, to your proficiency level and your fitness level and your strength level. Okay, so we're gonna use those exercises to generate the most amount of something we call neuroendocrine muscle response. So that is basically the more amount of muscle contraction that you engage, the more muscle building hormones gets released. So we use multiple we use compound movements because of that. So once you are done with the compound movements, Then we move on to the more isolated and simple movements. So you will always see inside the lift class, the most complicated movements is always at the top, and then followed by simpler movement, simpler movement, simpler movement, simplest movement. So, and there's also 3 categories. So is it 3 categories? Yeah, it's 3 categories. We have a weightlifting, we have hypertrophy, and we have a powerlifting to cater to the clients that we have at HBCF. So, and on top of that, you can ask your coach, by the way, for all these 3 categories, what does it mean? If you're a beginner, you should be joining hypertrophy because that is simplest and get you the fastest results in terms of building strength and muscles. Then we also have 3 phases. We have the grind phase, we have the gains phase, we have the prime phase. So each of these phases works differently. Works on different aspects of your strength, of your muscle building, muscle development. So I'm gonna prepare a video on that. If you're curious, comment and I'll prepare a video to explain those things as well. Okay, for now we're gonna move on to the next question.